What's up, SNEaKyNation? SnEaKy here, back with the playoffs in year number 1. In this video, we're going to be looking at all of the playoff games happening in this season and eventually find out who won the Super Bowl. We'll also be looking at the Pro Bowl rosters to see how many 49ers, if any, have actually made the team this year. It's definitely up in the air. We certainly have not been the best team so far this season, but we'll see how things play out. And then, of course, later today, we are going to be doing our scouting preview of the NFL draft. In other words, we're going to be getting our big board together, so if you guys would like to have a say in how this draft tunes out, be sure to play a factor into later tonight's stream. The link will be down below to my Twitch channel. We'll be going live there. We'll be scouting everybody that we can and getting ready for the NFL draft, at least looking at all the players, I should say, because we're not actually going to advance further into the offseason. That'll be taking place tomorrow on Saturday. But you guys get the picture. Anyway, playoff schedule, here we go. In last video, you guys should have made some predictions, who you guys thought would win, but let's go ahead and see them again. We've got the Bengals taking on the Steelers, the Packers taking on the Cowboys, the Bills taking on the Jags, and the Vikings taking on the Seahawks. Let's go ahead and advance a week and see how everything played out here. So, here we go, advance week, and what we might also do today is start trying to hire a new coach. Is something else that could take place in this video, so we'll have to see what we can do with this as well. So we advance past the wild card round. Let's go ahead and check out all of the stats and what transpired there. And first game, we got the Bengals and the Steelers, and the Bengals would get the victory on the road against their division rival here, 35-28. And Andy Dalton had himself a game, 272 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions on the day. Roethlisberger, over 300 yards. He did throw 2 touchdowns, but he also threw 2 interceptions. Running the ball, Giovanni Bernard, 4.2 yards to carry and a touchdown for him. D'Angelo Williams getting the carries there for Pittsburgh. So it looks like Le'Veon Bell was out with an injury, and that definitely came back to haunt him in today's game. Trent Richardson for the Steelers did get 2 touchdowns there, but not having Le'Veon Bell certainly hurt them there. Receiving, Marcus Wheaton, 9 catches, 106 yards, and both touchdowns there for the Steelers. We see 2 touchdowns by Brandon LaFell, 1 by Eifert. Antonio Brown was shut down in today's game. 2 catches, 19 yards, no touchdowns. Jeremy Hill had the 4th touchdown there for the Bengals. Defensively, Lawrence Timmons leading the way with 10 tackles, 2 sacks for Hayward, a half a sack for Atkins and Dunlap there. Interceptions, 1 by Pac-Man Jones, 1 by Carlos Dansby. Fumbles forced, what do we got? We're going to have a few here. 1 by Dansby, Timmons, and Maluga would each force and recover a fumble on the day. So the Bengals with a nice victory there. We have the Packers taking on the Vikings, and the Packers would get the victory 38-31. Aaron Rodgers would struggle in today's game, actually. It looks like the Cowboys struggled even more. Dak Prescott might have gone down with an injury early, which means Mark Sanchez actually had to play in the game. He did throw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions on the day, while Aaron Rodgers, only 1 touchdown to go with 2 interceptions. He did, however, throw for 345 yards. Running the ball, Ezekiel Elliott, the rookie, 5.2 yards a carry and a touchdown for him, but Eddie Lacy, 3 touchdowns on the day. He did only have 4 yards to carry, but overall, definitely killed it. James Starks had a touchdown there as well. Receiving, Randall Cobb, 8 catches, 141 yards for him. Montgomery adding 5 catches for 84 yards. And then Rodgers would have the touchdown. Williams and Dez Bryant would get the 2 touchdowns from Sanchez there. But overall, you'd like to see Dez Bryant a bit more involved than only 3 catches today. Again, changing their quarterbacks around so much certainly probably did not help the Cowboys offense there. McLean would lead the way with 11 tackles. Julius Peppers, 1.5 sacks on the day. Other Packers would get involved with half sacks there. None for the Cowboys defense. McLean and Sean Lee would get the 2 interceptions for the Cowboys, though. Fumbles forced, we have none in today's game. So next up, we have the Bills and the Jags, and the Bills would get the victory 32-22 there. Another road win Taylor, 248 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Blake Bortles, 253 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions for him. Reggie Bush, though, 11 carries, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the veteran running back, a long of 54 on the day. Chris Ivory, 76 yards and a touchdown for him. And then Glenn Gronkowski would run for a touchdown here, as well as Jerome Felton. Receiving the ball, Allen Hurns, 8 catches, 72 yards. James Jones, 7 for 113. Allen Robinson, 4 for 104. 1 touchdown going to Joe Leslie here. The other touchdown going to Marquise Lee. Only 1 catch, 2 yards on the day. He did get that touchdown, though. Telvin Smith would lead the way with 10 tackles on the day. Sacks, 2.5 by Jerry Hughes, 1 by Dante Fowler Jr., and a half a sack by Shaq Lawson, the rookie. No interceptions taking place in today's game. Fumbles forced. We have 1 by Dan Skuta. He would recover it as well. And then last game of the wild card round, we have the Seahawks crushing the Vikings, 49-10, including 21 fourth quarter points by the Seahawks there. And TJ Yates playing a little bit here, throwing 1 touchdown. It might have been a fake that he made it happen on. And then Russell Wilson, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And then Kevin Hogan, after the injuries to both Sam Bradford and Teddy Bridgewater, maybe even Sean Hill too, actually. I mean, look at how many quarterbacks the Vikings have on their roster right now. This is absurd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks on the Vikings roster. And again, you know, that's because they're dealing with so many injuries here. But look at Kevin Hogan. Poor Kevin Hogan, a rookie. 1 touchdown to go with 5 interceptions. Going up against the Seahawks defense is just a recipe for disaster if you are a rookie quarterback. And they are going to make him pay there. Rawls, 78 yards, no touchdowns for him. 2 touchdowns on the ground for Russell Wilson. 1 for Michael. And then 1 for Alex Collins, the rookie out of Arkansas. Receiving the ball, Treadwell would have 125 yards and a touchdown on 9 catches there. Touchdown for Jimmy Graham and Brandon Williams as well for the Seahawks. Defensively, Harrison Smith had 8 tackles on the day. 1 sack by Bennett, 1 by Floyd Hamilton, and Averill would each team up for a sack there. Averill, I'm sorry, either one. I always say it wrong. I know I do. I apologize. Bobby Wagner with 2 interceptions. KJ Wright with 1. Earl Thomas with 1. And Simon with 1. I mean, poor rookie quarterback. That's just a tough situation to be thrown into there. I kind of want to look at their injury report after this game. The fumbles forced, Simon, Joseph, and Wagner, none of those would be recovered. So that is it for the wild card round. Next up, we have the divisional round. We have the Bengals taking on the Chargers, the Packers taking on the Lions, the Bills taking on the Patriots, and the Seahawks taking on the Falcons. Let's get some more predictions in the chat below on what you guys think is going to happen. But before I do that, I would like to look at the injury report here for the Vikings. And a lot of teams didn't get it too bad this year, but the Vikings definitely did. Of course, Bridgewater was hurt before the season even began, before this franchise even began. But look at that. I mean, dang. Sam Bradford. Oh my gosh. There's Bridgewater. There's Sean Hill. I mean, geez. Their quarterbacks just took a beating this season. And to the point where they actually signed, they have 4 active quarterbacks right now. I don't know. I also wanted to look at the Falcons really quick because we did injure Matt Ryan. I don't know if he's back yet. And Matt Ryan has returned for the playoffs. So the Falcons getting him back just in time here. He will be okay. He will be playing. But let's go ahead and advance on now. Interesting to see that, though. So here we go on to the conference championship. I hope you guys put some more predictions in the chat below. And now we can hire some staff. But before we do that, let's go ahead and check out everything. But we are going to need to look for a new head coach in today's video, too. I know some of you guys are excited about that. So we have the Bengals and the Chargers. And the Bengals would get the upset victory. Again, the Chargers going 14-2 on the year. But they failed in their very first playoff game. The Bengals getting a win on the road, 35-32. Phillip Rivers, a great game, just under 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception for him. Andy Dalton, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. but his team got the win, and Giovanni Bernard playing a factor in that. 95 yards on the ground for him and a touchdown. His teammate here, Jeremy Hill, 41 yards and a touchdown for him. And then AJ McCarron would even run for a touchdown. I wonder if that was on a fake because we didn't see him throw the ball at all, so it might have been like a field goal fake or something. I don't know. Lonnie Pryor would run for a touchdown there for the Chargers. Receiving Keenan Allen, 11 catches, 158 yards, but no touchdowns. His teammate, though, Stevie Johnson, 7 catches, 101 yards, and 3 touchdowns for him. Benjamin with 7 catches, too. No touchdowns for him. AJ Green, 5 for 75 yards and a touchdown. Burkhead would get a touchdown there for the Bengals as well. Defensively, Ingram leading the way with 10 tackles. 1 sack by Carruthers. I don't know if I said that wrong. I apologize if I didn't. 1 by Atkins, a half a sack by Roach and Clark there. Interceptions, 1 by Pac-Man Jones, 1 by Manti Te'o. And then fumbles forced, let's see what we got. 2 by Perfect. He would recover 1 as well, but a huge upset taking place there. Next up, we have the Packers and the Lions, a battle of the division again, and the Packers would get the victory this time, 38-35 over the Lions, who had the second best record in the NFL. So the two teams with the top records both falling in today's game. Of course, the Vikings, who had the third best record, lost last week in the wild card round. So the top 3 teams have gone down already. Aaron Rodgers, 310 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. 385 yards for Stafford, 2 touchdowns. He did throw an interception in the game, though. Eddie Lacy, 71 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Polk and Abdullah each getting a touchdown there for the Lions. Receiving the ball, Marvin Jones, 6 catches, 109 yards. No touchdowns there, though. Eddie Lacy led the Packers in receptions with 6, only 25 yards. Anquan Bolden, 6 for 94 yards. Nelson, 5 for 51 and a touchdown. Rodgers would go 5 for 68 and a touchdown. Roberts, though, for the Lions, 5 catches, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. Randall Cobb would have a touchdown for the Packers as well. Defensively, Whitehead leading the way with 15 tackles, 2.5 sacks by Clay Matthews on the day. A few other guys getting involved there. Interceptions, 1 by Burnett. And then we got fumbles forced and fumbles recovered. Nothing happening in that game there. Bills and the Patriots are going to win the game. Another battle of division opponents here. 35-17 would be the score. Tom Brady, 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions on the day. Tyrod Taylor struggling, only 150 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Running the ball, Blunt would lead the way with 80 yards. Reggie Bush, 73. A touchdown for James White, and then 2 for Glenn Gronkowski. He is having himself a great playoff. Of course, his team is eliminated there, but interesting to see that name pop up in this game and actually have more touchdowns than Rob Gronkowski, who only had 1. Julian Edelman, 7 catches, 176 yards, and 3 touchdowns for him. Chris Hogan, 7 catches, 71 yards there. No touchdowns for the Bills receiving. Shaq Lawson, the rookie, with 11 tackles on the day. 1 sack for Mingo, 1 for Sheard. Interceptions, 1 by Malcolm Butler. Fumbles forced, what do we got here? And no fumbles forced or recovered on the day. Last game, we have the Seahawks and the Falcons would get the victory 24-7 over the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, no touchdowns, no interceptions on the day. Matt Ryan returning from injury, 235 yards, a touchdown, and 1 interception for him. Devontae Freeman, 17 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown for him. Rawls would also have a rushing touchdown, as would Patrick DeMarco there. Receiving, Julio Jones, 9 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown for him. No receiving touchdowns there for the Seahawks. 11 tackles for Bobby Wagner on the day, but Jeremy Mincey, 2.5 sacks to lead the day. The Falcons would get all the sacks. Seahawks defense not generating a whole lot of pressure there. Tuggle would get the 1 interception for the Seahawks, though. If you were to tell me all the Seahawks that one of them got an interception, Tuggle would not have been my guess. And then 1 fumble forced by Ashley Palmer. It would not be recovered, though. So there it is. Next up, we have the conference championship. The Bengals visiting the Patriots and the Packers visiting the Falcons. Let's once again get some more predictions in the chat below. Let's find out who all is right and who is wrong. And then let's go ahead and check out our options in terms of hiring the staff. And this is going to be interesting. Coaches, who all is available? Matt Hedrick here is available. He runs a 3-4 defense, which is definitely what we are trying to do. A zone run offense. Demetrius Turner's another option. I don't really want to run a 4-3 though. But look at this. John Harbaugh is on the list. Now, as much as I would like to pursue John Harbaugh as a head coach, if we are being honest, he's not going to sign with the 49ers. The 49ers did his brother dirty, and I don't think John Harbaugh would ever consider signing here. Even though he would be my number one choice, it's just not a realistic option. So here is Thomas Pita. A balanced offense, attacking 3-4 defense might be the way to go. Increased player weekly goal XP for Chuck Pagano there. That's kind of interesting. I don't know that I want to run a vertical offense just yet, though. And then look at this. The Ravens going for Nicholas Gove here. Way down the list. I'm surprised he is being targeted over some of these other options here. But of course, you're not really seeing a whole lot of extra benefits. I was really hoping to find a coach that would give me more options in terms of scouting. But that guy does not seem to be there. So really, we can decide between Matt Hedrick or potentially Thomas Pita. I'd like to go with Thomas Pita. I'd rather have a balanced offense than a zone run, I think. So let's go ahead and give Thomas Pita the go. I don't know if I want to. Should I offer a 3-year deal? I kind of feel like I should offer a 2-year deal. Let's lower that to a 2-year deal. And we'll see if he accepts or not. Because I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, we did want to move on from Chip Kelly. Again, I do feel like he did fairly well. But he just is not our coach. And that's pretty much where we stood with him. You know, it's new management. We want to bring in our own guy. So, we advanced to the Pro Bowl, and we ended up getting Pete on a 2-year deal. So, we'll see how we like him in 2 years before deciding whether we want to sign him to a super long-term deal or not. Next up, we have the Super Bowl, but before we do that, let's obviously go ahead and check out the Pro Bowl rosters, something we haven't had a chance to do until now. And Aaron Rodgers and Phillip Rivers, the top 2 quarterbacks here. Brady and Stafford, Matt Ryan and Andy Dalton rounding out the crew. Jamal Charles and Adrian Peterson, Doug Martin and Blunt, CJ Anderson, and Ezekiel Elliott, the rookie, is going to make the list there. Interesting to see that. Burton, Pryor, Felton, and DeMarco at fullback. Julio Jones is going to be the number 1 wide receiver. Julian Edelman, the other number 1 guy there. As we scroll down the list, there's Antonio Brown. There's AJ Green as well. Going down the list. So they've gone, I didn't even realize they've gone back to the NFC, AFC team format. I thought they were still doing the other one. So now I know, which I'm actually okay with this format a bit more, I feel like. I'm still looking for one of our players to make the list. And then again, there's Jacob Tammy. We already talked about him, but that was a huge acquisition via trade. So it's nice to see his name there. Alex Boone's going to make the list for the Vikings there as we continue to scroll down, see if any names really stand out to us here. There's Khalil Mack. Nice to see him play for the AFC. Go down the list, and I do not think we are going to have a single player representing us in the Pro Bowl. There is Kevin Dodd, a rookie, and I missed it if he was there. No, he is not. So Joey Bosa did not make it despite an outstanding season. However, Kevin Dodd, another rookie, is going to be on this list. Very interesting to see that. There's Aldon Smith, of course, Darius Slay, and then Josh Norman. Again, we talked about how big of a pickup he ended up being, but he will make the list. There's Tim McDonald Jr., who had some great games against us as well. And I do not believe the 49ers are represented at all in the Pro Bowl here, which is to be expected. We really didn't have a good season. It's a little disheartening not to see a single player on this list, but it is what it is. And the 49ers not going to make the Pro Bowl. So that's definitely another goal we are going to have to shoot for in this next season. But there are the Pro Bowl rosters. Let's go ahead and check out the conference championship games and kind of find out how everything played out here. Oh, not team schedule. It's not what I wanted to do at all. Here we go. League schedule. All right. And Bengals Falcons. So the Bengals would take down the Patriots, and the Bengals, this one went to overtime. And the Bengals winning on the road once again. A phenomenal postseason by the Cincinnati Bengals, getting 3 incredible victories here. 31-34, the Bengals would get the victory. And again, an overtime game. Andy Dalton, 416 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, outdueling Tom Brady, only 320 yards. I say only, but compared to 416. 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions for him. LeGarrette Blount, 75 yards on the ground. Giovanni Bernard with 70 yards. Dion Lewis and Jeremy Hill would each run for a touchdown there. Receiving, Cotry, 11 catches, 89 yards and a touchdown. But A.J. Green, 8 catches, 195 yards, and 2 touchdowns for the Bengals. Tyler Eifert with 6 catches, 53 yards and a touchdown there. Julian Edelman, 87 yards and a touchdown. Giovanni Bernard with 82 yards receiving there as well out of the backfield. Definitely helping his team out. Defensively, Lofton would lead the way with 14 tackles. Dunlap, Collins, Long, each getting a sack. McCourty and Sheard would split one. Interceptions, one by Eric Rowe. I don't know who threw an interception, though. We'll have to check that out, because I don't think Andy Dalton did. No fumbles forced or recovered. So passing. Aha! A.J. McCarron on a fake, it must have been, through the interception, because he only had 1 attempt on the day. So we saw them run a fake last week too. They tried it again and the Patriots were ready for it. It didn't matter. The Bengals did enough to get the victory. And then the Packers and the Falcons, 28-21. The Falcons would get the victory over the Green Bay Packers here. And Matt Ryan, 243 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions on the day. Aaron Rodgers held to a shutout in terms of his passing. 297 yards, 0 touchdowns, though. He didn't turn the ball over with an interception, though, either. Devontae Freeman, 20 carries, 81 yards, 4.1 yards a carry for him. Eddie Lacy and Starks would each run for a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers would run for a touchdown as well. So those are the 3 touchdowns for the Packers. It certainly didn't happen through the air. Of course, you do see 3 Packers lead the way with 6 receptions, though. Led by Randall Cobb in 82 yards. Julio Jones, 5 catches, 111 yards and a touchdown for him. Patrick DeMarco also having a great postseason here, would have a receiving touchdown, and Tevin Coleman would add a touchdown, as well as Marcus Colston. Defensively, Desmond Trufant leading the way with 11 tackles on the game. Jarrett with 1.5 sacks, 1 sack for Mike Daniels, 1 for Tyson Jackson. Few players going to split a sack here as well. Interceptions, none on the day. Fumbles forced, we've got 1 by Warlow. He would recover it as well. So it's time for the Super Bowl, everybody. And we have the Bengals taking on the Falcons. And again, if you go back here, the Bengals winning on the road in Pittsburgh. Winning on the road against the 14-2 San Diego Chargers. Winning on the road in New England. The Bengals have been killing it in the postseason. The Falcons, though, had the better record on the regular season, and they did lose a few games with Matt Ryan being injured, though, but their playoffs so far, a big win over the Seattle Seahawks, a victory over the Green Bay Packers as well. Let's get some predictions in the chat. Who is going to win year number 1? Will it be the Cincinnati Bengals or the Atlanta Falcons? Here we go. Let's advance the week and figure it all out now. Like how I said, out for those Canadian viewers. And again, we did sign PETA to be our coach for 2 seasons. So I'm excited about that pickup as well. I just don't think it'd be realistic for John Harbaugh to sign with the 49ers after what happened with his brother. So we're not going to do any scouting here. Again, I forgot to sign a scout, didn't I? Not a scout, a trainer. I forgot to look for a trainer, so we'll have to do that. But I'll wait till the off-season video. And I'm going to wait for the off-season video to use these scouting points as well. But anyway, let's go ahead and find out who won the Super Bowl, unless I have to. Aha, yes, I was wrong. We just advanced past the Pro Bowl, didn't we? So we're going to have to go ahead. I guess we could, can we look at the Pro Bowl stats? I don't think you could do that last year, could you? Playoff schedule. Let's find out. Conference. Nope, you cannot look at those stats. That's unfortunate. All right, so never mind. Let's go back. Here we go. And we are going to look for a team trainer, and then we'll use some scouting points here as well. Trainer, who all is available? Signed with 49ers. I don't feel like we signed him, though. I feel like that is incorrect. Sometimes, yeah, see, they're saying everybody signed with us. Because we didn't even need to sign a scout. So there's no way we signed this scout. So I think that's a glitch. So let's go ahead and go for Bradley, since all the other teams are going elsewhere right now. Maybe we could settle for Bradley and sign him. So we're going to need to scout some players as well. And even though, actually, I think we have one more round of scouting before we unlock the actual combine scores. Which is fine, because I don't want to get super into scouting in this video anyway, since I'd rather save it a little bit for the stream tomorrow night. So let's go ahead and maybe look around at some offensive line guys. I think that'd probably be a decent thing to look for here. We've scouted so much of everything else, I feel like. If we can find some offensive line guys worth taking. Yeah, well, we don't know his combine score. His pass block's terrible, though. So that's not too great to see. Pass block, anybody stand out? And again, I guess combine really does play a big factor with what we think of those guys. But let's go ahead and scout some offensive line guys, since we haven't done that a whole lot. And then we shall advance to the offseason. Here we go. And then we can go ahead and check out the Super Bowl winner and everything like that. So here we go. Again, this video is a little bit longer. I apologize. And again, I said tomorrow. I take that back. Later today will be us scouting, and then tomorrow will be the off-season stream. So I hope to see you guys there. We did end up getting our trainer, so that's great to see. He looked very solid. Before we do the re-signing players and stuff like that, we're going to wait for the off-season stream for that, I think. And actually, can I even... I'm a bit nervous. I don't even know if I can scout right now. So I don't know how I'm actually going to do the scouting stream. That worries me a little bit. We'll find out. Super Bowl, here we go. And the Bengals have won it in overtime. 2 overtime games to win. Unbelievable. The Super Bowl went into overtime 36-30. The Bengals would get the victory. And that is 2 overtime games in a row. Andy Dalton had a killer postseason. 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Matt Ryan did throw 344 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw 2 interceptions as well, though. Running the ball, Giovanni Bernard, 27 carries, 109 yards, and a touchdown for him. Coleman ran for a touchdown there, 75 yards for Freeman. And then Jeremy Hill would run for a touchdown as well for the Bengals. Receiving, Julio Jones, 8 catches, 151 yards for him. Mohamed Sanu, 6 catches, 54 yards and a touchdown. Hartline, 4 catches and a touchdown. LaFell had a touchdown. Hewitt had a touchdown. And where is... Did I miss him? There's AJ Green. 3 catches, only 18 yards on the day. His team did end up winning, though. Defensively, Maluga, 15 tackles on the day. He had a sack as well. Perfect getting a sack on Matt Ryan, too. Adam Pac-Man Jones, who had a killer postseason, too. And Denard, each getting the interceptions on the day. Fumbles forced, none happening in the game. And the Bengals would win the Super Bowl. Unbelievable. A crazy finish to year 1 with the Super Bowl going into overtime. So again, later today I was planning on doing a scouting video. But I don't know how I could do that unless we can scout next week. Because I don't really want to do the off-season tonight. So I'm a bit torn on how this is going to go down if I can't scout here then I'd already be starting the offseason. Let me know in the comments what you guys think I should do. If I should just wait until tomorrow, or if I advance 1 week, in other words, we do this so far, if I'll get my combine scores, and then we can just do that. Because I'm not really planning on scouting a whole lot further. I just want to look at our draft board, look at the combine scores, and decide who we want to put where on our draft chart is more of what I was thinking of doing. So if I just do this first, you guys let me know who y'all would like back. I do want to get Demetrius McCray back. He was a great special teams player for us. I was pretty happy with that, getting those 2 blocks. I really want to get Chris Owusu back, who had 5 touchdowns for us as well. Outside of that, Aaron Burbridge, another guy I would love to bring back. So you guys let me know in the comments how you guys would like to handle this, and I will see y'all later. Peace.